This is our destination today, and as you can see, it's not a hike. We're off canoeing and kayaking in one of the 6 or 7 lakes up on the Mogollon Rim. Join us as we explore and discover some of the shoreline and some of the beauties along the lake. There's quite a bit of scenery around the lake, as well as taking a spin up the inlet of the lake. It's very peaceful and beautiful up here. Enjoy it. At Hidden Gems of Nature, I don't tell you what the destination is. Instead, I give you clues so you can explore and discover these hidden gems or your own hidden gems. So watch carefully as we identify clues to find these destinations. And remember, subscribe to Hidden Gems of Nature YouTube channel. Welcome to Hidden Gems of Nature. Today our destination is a lake up on the Mogollon Rim. There's a number of lakes up there. They're all gorgeous pine-rimmed lakes. It's clear and cool, great trout fishing in them. So we're going to go down to one of those lakes and canoe around a little bit today so you can enjoy the beauty of canoeing around on one of these lakes. I'll pan around the parking lot so you can see where we're at. This happens to be one of 2 parking lots for this lake. This parking lot's at the end of the lake, the other parking lot's at the front of the lake. Neither of the parking lots are next to the lake, but they're probably a quarter-mile walk to the lake, so you can't drive down to this lake. So we're going to take our canoe and kayak and head on down the trail to the lake. I like to put my canoe in the water this way because it keeps me from dragging the front or the back of the canoe on the ground and sandpapering the finish off of it. Actually preserves the canoe a lot better, and it keeps my feet dry as well. Pitch back to shore, Kyle, and draw your fly back towards you. I like to canoe across the lake, over to the banks, through the taller grasses and along the meadows. It's really pretty, and sometimes you can even see some trout cruising along the banks of the lake. I didn't videotape a lot of the turns we made on the dirt road coming into the lake. We happened to be off the 300 road and about 2 miles off the 300 road. As I mentioned, the hike down to the lake's about a quarter of a mile. We hauled a canoe, a kayak, several backpacks, chairs, a small cooler, and stayed and enjoyed the afternoon down at the lake. The hike up is a little tough with all that equipment, so make sure you stay down at the lake and enjoy it while you're there. As I canoe and kayak around the lakes, I like to take my fishing pole with me. And these lakes all have steep banks, and so I'll oftentimes just work the edge of the lake. Because the banks are steep, you just cast against the edge of the lake and pull back into the lake, or troll the deep channels, either one. But they're fun little lakes to canoe around in and catch a few fish at the same time. Oh, he's a nice 9-incher. 8-9-incher. Get him off of here. Here you go. He's about 9-incher. Yeah, see, I don't touch him. Just grab the hook and then pop them off, and off they go. Never have to touch them. They just swim right away. It's kind of nice. Yeah, they're all rainbow planters up here. Over 30 years ago, I built the wooden canoe that my daughter and son-in-law are canoeing around in on this lake. I happened to be living in the San Francisco area at the time. A friend of mine was the brains behind it. I was the cheap labor and the financing. And when we finally finished the canoe, we decided to take it on a maiden voyage. Not far from our homes was a National Wildlife Refuge near the Dumbarton Bridge, if you're familiar with the San Francisco area. There was a small boat ramp, and we drove to the small boat ramp. It was during Thanksgiving break, and put the canoe into the estuary in the wildlife refuge, canoed around the refuge, had an absolutely wonderful time canoeing up and down the little channels throughout the estuary and observing the wildlife and the bird life. Really was a quite enjoyable maiden voyage in that canoe. And then we decided to head back to the car and soon began to realize that the tide was rolling out. And as we were canoeing back to the car, or to the boat ramp, all of a sudden it was like going upstream, and we were really having to battle to get upstream. But what was worse than that we had forgotten is now the water's 3 or 4 feet lower than it was when we started. And when we got back to the boat ramp, we had to trudge through 3, 4, 5 feet of mud before we could get up and out of the bay. So here we are on the maiden voyage in this beautiful wooden canoe that we had been pampering and taking good care of, and now we dragged it right through the middle of the mud and up and out of the bay. It was a lot of fun, but you could tell we were a couple of rookies when it came to tide tables on the San Francisco Bay. Getting back to our trip here on the lake, I love to go to the ends of the lake and go up the little channels, see what kind of wildlife or fish that may be up here. And actually came up here to the end of the lake, and in this channel, when I hit the Y, I hesitated. I should have gone left. I went right and then went back left, and actually spooked a small animal that was down drinking at the lake. And you can't see it with this camera, but there were a lot of footprints right there next to the water, and I could actually see the animal racing back through the grass. It was, I don't know, a raccoon, a fox, a weasel, who knows what it was, but it's nice to be in a kayak or a canoe. They're so stealth that when you come back into these channels, you can oftentimes see different wildlife. Kind of exciting to go back into these little channels and explore and discover what might be back here. Here's a lone dead pine, and at the top of it is an osprey nest. The osprey just came in and landed it a few minutes ago. You can't see the osprey, but you can see that big nest up there. There you go. Now you can see the osprey behind the nest that we were looking at. One of the things I like about canoeing around these lakes is they have little pockets of aspens by these meadows in a lot of the little different inlets and sides of the lake. Makes it really pretty in contrast to the evergreens. Hope you enjoy your next trip up to one of these lakes up on the Mogollon Rim. They're all beautiful.